Back here at Snetterton, Josh Cook, who's already said he's not having the best of weekends, is encountering problems on the grid, just moments away from round 8 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Let's go to commentators Tim Harvey and David Addison.
So Josh Cook's weekend gets even worse, doesn't it? Big drama on the grid. It looks as though that car, even if it can start the race, will have to do so either from the pit lane or the very back of the grid. That throws him completely out of contention for this and potentially race 3.
Yeah, very much so. The worst time it was to have that problem. Oh, looks like he's got going. That's fantastic.
Well, it is, except that because there were mechanics there after the 1 minute ball, there will be a penalty for having people working on the car unless it's considered force majeure. So he's not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, correct. But up the sharp end of the grid, we've got a fascinating racing prospect. Ash Sutton now on the soft tyre, the fastest tyre. You could bet your house on him winning this almost.
So, Ash Sutton starts on pole position for this 8th round of the championship. It's Jake Hill with him at the front of the grid. Row 2, Colin Turkington and Tom Ingram, and then Adam Morgan and Stephen Jelly. You can see what tyres they're using on the grid graphic. The 4th row, Dan Rowbottom, who goes onto the softs now, and it is Josh Cook with him. Then there is Rory Butcher and Aaron Taylor-Smith rounding out the top 10. Dan Camish starts 11th. Ronan Pearson is 12th on the grid. 13th is where you find Sam Osborne, and it's George Gamble alongside him. Then there's Dan Lloyd with Bobby Thompson alongside him. Mikey Doble and Andrew Watson, 2 teammates, come next for Car Store Power Max Racing. Aidan Moffat will be on the 10th row. Dexter Patterson for company, and all Scottish 10th row ahead of Jack Newtell and Will Powell. Nicholas Hamilton, and then Tom Chilton, who had a throttle calibration drama in the first race. That's why he fell back. He's 24th. Jade Edwards, 25th, ahead of Nick Halstead. And Ricky Collard, who had a hole through the radiator in the earlier race, will start at the very back. But on soft, he's going to be a man to watch. Yeah,
he'll be trying to do a Camish, albeit on the quicker tyre. Camish did it on the hards, but as I said, you know, at the front, you've only got one car on hards, and that's Ingram. He's going to really struggle in this race to keep that position.
Now, just to look at tyres and hybrid, remember that now the hybrid use is based on where you finished in the previous race. So Ash Sutton, as the winner, has only 1 hybrid lap, but he's on the soft tyres. Medium tyres and 2 laps and 3 laps of use for Hill and Turkington. 4 laps of hybrid for Tom Ingram, but as Tim says, he's on the harder tyre. Adam Morgan gets 5 laps, 6 laps for Stephen Jelly, 7 for Dan Rowbottom. Everybody else, 8 laps. Rowbottom is the next driver on soft, so he should make progress.
Yeah, he did a great job in race 1 on the hard. All the BMWs started the first race on soft. They've all followed suit in race 2. They're all on the medium tyre. So all the BMWs on the medium, which means they're consigned to the hard tyre for race 3. I mean, I think the thinking behind Ash Sutton taking the soft rather than the hard for this race is let's get maximum points while we can. The 3rd race, reverse grid, is a bit of a lottery anyway, so he's going to try and make another good start like he did with race 1. He barely needed any hybrid then, did he? So the odds are very much on for another Ash Sutton win.
Now there is Josh Cook, who has got himself back to his grid position of 8th. Now, ordinarily the rule is that if everybody has gone past you before you get away, you have to start at the back. I have to confess, I didn't see if everybody went past him, so one hopes he's in the right place, but my fear is that with people working on the grid until that last moment, he's in a bit of trouble.
I agree with that, but he did pull away with everybody else.
Okay,
once it was shut and pulled away, so we'll wait and see.
So Colin Turkington is going to go from 3rd on the grid and is this time on the medium tyre. Other onboards in this race will be Ricky Collard. Well, he's going to be the real gun from the back of the grid on soft tyres, and we know that he's going to be able to get out his elbows and start to force a way through. Bobby Thompson also is going to be a driver to watch. He's on the medium tyre and he will be 16th on the grid. And Ronan Pearson is on softs also at 12th. Now, that's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Because he made progress in the first race. He's on a potentially faster tyre now, and he's pretty well placed on the grid, row 6.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he said he wanted to get that first race done on the tyre that he was used to, and he's done that. He's now going to find his car gripping up, feeling very much to his liking, I'm sure.
So up to the grid then they come, ready for our second 12-lap race of the day. Ash Sutton slots into place then, and at the rear of the grid Tom Chilton, he's going to be another driver to keep an eye on. He's on softs as well, and of course he needs to use them now to try to make progress to get himself anywhere near the reverse grid draw for race 3. So there is quite a lot of strategy being played out up and down the pit lane, especially now based on race 1 results.
And of course the clever-minded people will actually now know what tyres everybody will be on for race 3.
Absolutely, yes.
There's only one option left for them,
yeah.
So they'll already be factoring that.
The grid then is formed. We are good to go for this 8th round of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Ash Sutton on soft tyres, pole position. Jake Hill, second on the grid, medium tyres, and an extra lap of hybrid use. Get set. This promises to be quite a battle then as the drivers look towards the lights. Lights go red. Blast off, good getaway by Sutton, good start also by Jake Hill. Again, Tom Ingram a little bit sluggish, he's feeling very much under the weather and he's not great off the line, but Sutton leads down towards turn 1. Jake Hill slots in behind him. Then there is Turkington ahead of Morgan. 5th is Ingram, and they now make the run up towards the Wilson hairpin for the first time, and across comes Sutton to cover off any move from Jake Hill.
Slightly better start from Hill, but he was on the outside, and Sutton did enough to just keep the lead. And we know on the first lap Sutton is absolutely mega on coldish tyres. The BMW's taking their time to warm up, so Sutton will try and maximise this first lap advantage.
So those drivers on the soft are going to try to push forward. Sam Osborne is another of them as they come now down to... And Josh Cook's got a problem, hasn't he? Because look, the Honda slows coming down towards Agostini. That was one of the One Motorsport cars, and it's got to be Cook because he's no longer in that leading line. So Josh Cook has got a problem, and the car slows right down. So whatever it was on the grid has struck again as the field works its way then towards Bentley Straight for the first time, and Sutton is getting away.
Yeah, good spot, David. Clearly a problem there. All the 2 Power Max cars coming into Oggie's side by side. They come out together, still side by side, and onto the back straight. Everybody out wide on the first lap. On board with Collard, catching the pack in front, trying to get a little draft. Remember, he's on the soft tyre.
So down towards the S's they come. Collard trying to make progress, of course, up from the back of the grid and hoping to turn around his day. Well, he has made progress. He's managed to wriggle his way through a few, and there's more drama there. Look like Doble and Tom Chilton getting together. Tom Chilton goes through on the inside line. This is Collard's view down to bomb hole. Yeah,
looked like there might have been a tiny bit of contact between Chilton and Mikey Doble coming into the S's, but look at the gap at the front.
Yeah.
Sutton has absolutely disappeared. He's supposed to look after the soft tyres a little bit in lap 1, but he knows that's where he's got advantage, so maybe he'll do it on this time. There was the Mikey Doble and Chilton thing, and here goes Collard up the inside of Andrew Watson, bouncing over the curbs and pushes it out wide. Another view of that. So, yeah, both the Power Max cars getting a little bit mugged there.
Now, should it matter, Josh Cook has got a drive-through penalty for the mechanics working on the car after the 1-minute board, but he is limping his way towards the pit lane anyway, so the day is going to go badly again for poor old Josh Cook. Right, we're on lap 2. Sutton led by 2.2 seconds at the end of lap 1, which is exactly the gap he had at the end, 2.2 at least, at the end of the opening lap of the first race. So he is trying to pull clear, and Jake Hill is going after him. Meantime, Ronan Pearson is working his way back into the mix as well. Big lock up there. Look, that was Aaron Taylor-Smith just ahead of Dan Camish coming down towards Agostini, and Josh Cook is in the pit lane.
Yeah, I think they're going to basically just try and repair whatever they can, do a systems check. He's out of the points and out of this race and out of the reverse grid draw, so all they can try and do is get some mechanical reliability into it.
We understand a puncture, so whatever it was on the grid, now he's picked up a puncture on the opening lap of the race. So
nothing to do with that.
No, unconnected, bizarre. When it's not your race, it's not your race. Right, here are the BMWs then. Hill from Turkington, from Adam Morgan. And then Dan Rowbottom, I think, is making progress as well, is he not, having worked his way on the soft back up into contention. So Stephen Jelly, I fear, is the one that's dropping back, as there, look, Ricky Collard goes through on the inside of Bobby Thompson. So that is going to put him now up into 16th place. Collard and softs. Really good combination, this, because he's charging.
Yeah, and you could just see the traction he had coming off the S's corner. And you could just use that, load up those front tyres and get good traction. Here's Collard's view. This is coming further back on the track. This is coming onto the back straight, onto the Bentley straight, down towards the S's. see his move. He gets a good run on Thompson, goes to the outside. Thompson knows he's there, just leading on the tyres, off the brakes a little bit, and claims that Bobby Thompson did a good job there of not fighting that too hard as well.
At the end of lap 1, Ash Sutton led by 2.2 seconds. At the end of lap 2, he led by 4.2 seconds. So he's charging away. Dan Rowbottom is indeed making progress. He is up to 5th, the second of the softies, as it were, on soft tyres. And Tom Ingram in the process has dropped back behind him. There is Rory Butcher squabbling with Stephen Jelly, and for the moment at least the BMW stays ahead. Sam Osborne is up with them, and he's on softs as well. Now remember that after Owen Pearson's exclusion, it was a 3rd place at Donington for Sam Osborne, but he is a far more competitive driver this year than we've seen in the past. He's learnt about the British Touring Car Championship, and this year putting all of those lessons into practice.
Ingram doing a good job at the moment on those hard tyres, but I fear he's about to be a real cork in the bottle. He's going to have to decide what battles he picks as the faster cars on faster tyres behind him.
That's Rowbottom on the inside of Morgan. Former teammates, remember, in Sicily Motorsport Mercedes days. Rowbottom goes one side, goes the other. He's got the quicker tyre, but he hasn't got the width of the road then to try to find a way through. Into bomb hole they come for the moment. Morgan fends him off.
Yeah, good battle between those two. They know each other well, obviously. There's Ingram on the hard tyres with right behind him Jelly Butcher, Osborne and Taylor Smith.
Josh Cook just rejoining from the drive-through penalty. It was a throttle issue on the grid, a puncture on the opening lap, and then the drive-through, so he's back on the track at least. Right, this is the view from Ricky Collard. He's caught his teammate George Gamble as they head up towards the line. Lead gap up again, by the way, now 4.6 seconds between the top two.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we stay on board, just see the grip advantage. Look, even on the brakes, you can see Collard has an advantage. Mid-corner, he's got a big advantage. He'll be under... Oh, contact there with Morgan and Rowbottom.
Rowbottom had gone through and Morgan hit him.
Yeah, that was aggressive. Very aggressive. But you really saw the difference in tyre grip there between the two Toyotas.
So Dan Rowbottom then is up 1 place. That puts him 4th. Adam Morgan is on the medium tyre. He's not given up yet. You can see the witness marks on the front of the BMW, but that was quite a knot going through the hairpin. So Rowbottom has kept the place, but I wonder how much damage that's done to the geometry of the car. Let's have a look.
Yeah, dives up the inside, and a surprise Morgan tries to do the cutback, but mistimes it and tags the back. I mean, Rowbottom was doing a stop and go, and Morgan was trying to carry the speed.
Now there's Ash Sutton having just put a lap on his mate Josh Cook after his pit stops, plural. 1 for the puncture, 1 for the drive-through. So Ash Sutton leading by 4.6 seconds last time around, and then you wait, and then here come the rest. Now, Rowbottom is going to be the man to watch for the podium here to see whether he can get up to Turkington. The gap between them is just under 2 seconds, but it's coming down. And likewise, Rory Butcher there is under attack from the next car on soft, that of Sam Osborne.
Yeah, now it's important to put people straight. Everyone's saying the dominance of these Napa Racing Fords must be the engine. They're so fast. I had a very close look at all the speed traps in race 1. In race 1, in the first speed trap, Sutton was 12th fastest. In the second speed trap, Sutton was 17th fastest. And in the third speed trap, he was 15th quickest. So let's quash that rumour straight away.
Now, Ricky Collard is quick because he's got himself up through the field and is now, on the start of the lap, 16th and looking to make more progress as the next wave comes across the line. Lead gap is up again, by the way, 5.1 seconds now. It is a good car, that Focus. A lot of testing went into it over the winter to hone it even more. And, of course, in this race, Sutton on soft, we know that's going to be very, very rapid indeed. Now, Collard came over the line in 15th, so he's up in the points. And Dan Rowbottom now is 2.3 seconds away from Turkington. His last lap was fractionally slower because he was battling to overtake Morgan, which he has now done. Now the road is clear, so Rowbottom sets off in pursuit of 3rd place.
Yeah, there's quite a gap there in that bunch, isn't there? That's now got Aaron Taylor-Smith at the front of it. Real battle behind. Dan Lloyd now drawing up alongside, and contact before turning in there to Hamilton. That's not what you want. You try to open the line as much as possible. Cam is trying to get in that little group.
Dan Lloyd on the soft tyre, remember. This is Collard now, who's got himself onto the back of Chilton. Chilton's made good progress as well, to be fair, hasn't he? Because he started 24th, 2 wheels onto the grass there, trimming the lawn as he comes on to Bentley Straight. This is lap 5 out of the 12, and Collard is almost within striking distance as they head down towards the braking area at the end of this back straight. So there, look, the line of Hyundais with the Toyota on the back of it. So you've got there Chilton on the tail of Ronan Pearson, and in replay here, Colin Turkington through. There's Jake Hill up the road ahead of him.
So leaders going through, and the gap is ever increasing. Sutton crosses the line. Wait for Hill's time, 4.5 seconds ahead.
Well, it's come down a fraction, therefore. 4.4. It was 5.1 last time.
Well, I think he's just managing it now. He really is. He's got to manage those soft tyres a little bit. Such a big lead. I told you could bet your house on this, mind you. Something will go wrong now.
But when you're moving, yes. Yeah. So up towards the Wilson hairpin there. Look, Rory Butcher versus Sam Osborne. This is the battle for 8th and 9th places. So lead gap down a little bit this time. We'll keep an eye to it. But it was a personal best lap last time by Jake Hill. Ash Sutton needs to look after those tyres to the end of the race, don't forget.
Yeah, Ingram still maintaining that 6th place overall. How's Camish? Camish is still in 12th place, so he hasn't actually been able to make much progress in this one, has he?
Yeah, you're right, he's got a little bit stuck, that's for sure. And off the road there has gone Jade Edwards. Gets back onto the circuit. Jade was 24th at the start of this lap as the field now turns its way up from Agostini through Hamilton. This is Bobby Thompson a little bit lower down. That's Mikey Doble ahead of him. So Doble has just gone through up into 18th place now.
To give you a comparison of tyre speeds, in the first race, the fastest lap on the soft tyre was Tom Ingram with a 55 dead. The fastest lap on the medium was Sutton, 0.8 of a second slower, and the fastest lap on the hard tyre was Camish, 2.5 seconds slower. So a big difference between the tyres.
Colin Turkington's view, 0.8 of a second back from Jake Hill, and last time he was ever so slightly slower, but he's still pushing in the first sector of this lap. Again, it was Hill that had the advantage. Turkington quicker in the second sector. Big dive on the inside there. Sam Osborne goes through. So progress made, and sorry, Dan Camish goes through, I should say, against Aaron Taylor-Smith. So that puts Camish up into 11th. We just said he's got stuck. Well, now he's managed to find a way at least past the Vauxhall Astra, and then the road is clear up the road ahead. Now the one that's got a bit stuck is Collard, because he has been on the tail of Chilton, although granted they're on the same soft tyre. They are.
I mean, that's the one that Camish has been trying to open the door to.
Yeah.
Here's his teammate Sam Osborne on that soft tyre, really hooked up, trying to get past Butcher. Has a think about it, but could maybe have made a lunge there. Needs to use the tyres to his advantage. Look, the car's holding a tighter line. He gets good exit. He's just got to line it up, maybe through here and down into Agostini. He can get an opportunity.
So Rory Butcher defending well on the medium, but because he's defending, so he's dropping away from Stephen Jelly. There's the reigning champion, Tom Ingram, 6th, Stephen Jelly, 7th. Those two squabbling. And Tom Ingram feeling decidedly second-hand this weekend. Not a well chap at all. So a busy race, hot temperatures, far from ideal. Debris lies on the road, as you see, proof of how fierce the battle is. Ash Sutton, fastest lap of the race, incidentally. He's still 4.3 seconds to the good.
Yeah, that was a wheel arch line, a carbon fibre wheel arch line with a nasty-looking self-tapping screw sticking out of it. You wouldn't want to run over that.
No, indeed. Right, this is Ricky Collard's view. Chilton up the road, and ahead of Chilton is Ronan Pearson. Ronan, oddly, started 12th, he's dropped back a little bit, and now he's a bit stuck in the traffic as well. Yeah,
I think it was a bit frenetic on that first lap, and then everybody's got really bunched up.
Right, so Ronan Pearson trying to find a way through as there is Dan Camish. Pearson on the outside, couldn't quite make that move stick against Aaron Taylor-Smith. And the danger is that Ronan leaves the door open and loses a place to Chilton, who's right there, and Chilton in turn is taking Collard with him for the ride. Well,
Aaron Taylor-Smith, very experienced. He's driving a tight race. We saw how long it took Camish to get past, and he's now up the road in front. And now Taylor-Smith defending really hard from Pearson, Chilton, Collard and Gamble.
Lead gap 4.5 seconds, crept up a little bit that time then between Sutton and Hill. Now there, Stephen Jelly is this lap ahead of Tom Ingram, so that's the change for 6th place. Ingram, remember, is the leading driver on the hard tyre, so this sort of becomes damage limitation as Osborne goes one side and then the other to get past Rory Butcher. The Corolla keeps the focus at bay.
Yeah, this is working out okay for Ingram, isn't it? Because he knows he's got that soft tyre for his 3rd race to come. A lot of others have used it already. He hasn't. There's no one really. Wasn't anyone really behind Jelly, so it's better to let Jelly go through and just try and follow him and keep that position. He's got that little gap from a squabbling pair behind him of Butcher and Osborne.
Taylor Smith defending his place then. Look, this is 12th, this long line of cars with Chilton trying to get past Pearson and Collard thinking about the inside line. So Aaron Taylor Smith mediums and then Pearson, Chilton, Collard all on the soft, but Pearson is stuck. And as you say, Aaron Taylor Smith using all of that experience to good use, and again, look, he positions the car just where Pearson wants to be.
Yeah, and he knows, he's been in touring cars long enough to know that if he does a defensive move, everyone behind him will fall over each other and can potentially open up a gap again for him to get away because they're tripping over each other behind him.
Way off the road there was Chilton. That was a track limit drama, wasn't it? Replay of Stephen Jelly's move on Tom Ingram. Gap on the inside at the end of Bentley Straight and through on the inside line he went.
Yeah, very neat, very clean. Turkington has caught up behind Hill, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's closed that gap down. On the last lap, he was, well, a tiny bit quicker, only a tiny bit, but he has closed the gap, definitely.
It was 6/10 last time. Just wondering in a straight line whether it hasn't stretched out again. It has, it's up to 7/10, can you believe it? So it looked better coming down towards turn 12. It's stretched out again the other side of that corner. The lead gap is hovering. It's gone 4.4, 4.3, 4.5, 4.3, which is where we are now. What about Rowbottom catching Turkington? That's 11/10 of a second and Robo is quicker. So 3rd place is still on, but he's running out of laps. There he is in the background, look, you can see it. So maybe this is partly why Turkington is trying to up his pace and catch Hill, because he knows he's vulnerable from the forward.
Yeah, well, that's what 1 second looks like on the road, because that's the difference between Turkington and Rowbottom.
So we've got just under 4 laps to go. Working lap 9 here at Snetterton. This is round 8 of the championship, and Ash Sutton is on target for a 2nd win of the day, seemingly. But 2nd, 3rd and 4th could all yet shuffle around. So Dan Rowbottom, new to the Motorbase team, Napa Racing UK this year. There he is, look, closing onto the back of Colin Turkington, who in turn is coming back at Jake Hill.
Well, the idea behind the change in hybrid deployment and availability and with option tyres coming back in was that nobody would win race 1 and race 2, but Ash is going to do it this weekend, isn't he? First time this year. God,
that was Pearson on Taylor Smith.
I think every corner of Taylor Smith's car is going to be rattled.
Collard has already done Chilton, and now he's done Pearson as well. So Ricky Collard has gained 2 places over the course of the lap. He's got past both the Hyundais, and now he tries to do what Pearson couldn't, and that is to make the move against Aaron Taylor Smith. Aaron has driven a really good defensive race thus far, but now he's going to have to do the same to fend off Ricky Collard, and Ricky is all fired up. Remember, this is for 12th place. The Toyota flying on the soft tyres, and he's done a really good job of getting past both the Hyundais.
Yeah, this is the sort of race that Collard loves, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, a real fighting charge through the field on good tyres. He loves a race like this, and he's dispatched the 2 accelerated Hyundais very neatly.
This is his view then. Lots of dead flies on the windscreen, but he powers his way out of turn 12 up towards the timing line, so inching up onto the back of the Vauxhall Astra. Sutton, Hill, Turkington, Rowbottom, Morgan Jelly, the top 6, and then fights on for 12. It's still Aaron Taylor Smith, Ricky on the lights, then trying to distract Aaron. Well, good luck with that, because he's been around the block as Aaron, and he's doing a grand job of defending, takes a tight line there. Collard goes from one side to the other, looking for the gap on the inside, but guess what? There's an Astra in the way.
Yeah, so Ronan Pearson looks at the outside, but he's defending at the same place. Well, Aaron Taylor Smith, you've got to admire him, you know, the art of driving is the art of defence as well as attack, and he's certainly doing that.
How good is Aaron Taylor Smith's defence? Arguably astronomical, you could say. He comes down towards Agostini, Pearson to the outside, Collard right under the rear wing of the Vauxhall then as they turn through the left-hander, and And again, everywhere that Ricky wants to go, there's the Vauxhall Astra in the way. The Carstor Power Max Racing entry of Aaron Taylor-Smith then still hangs on to that 12th place. What a battle!
Yeah, you just knew. Look, Ricky went wide to try. He knew he'd go tight, Taylor-Smith. But so he tried to get a cut back, but Taylor-Smith just blocks the car, comes off the corner tight, and there's no way. And actually gets a good run onto the back straight. And
now that Collard is stuck, so he is being attacked by Pearson and Chilton in the same way that he was attacking them when they got stuck behind Aaron Taylor-Smith. I'm not suggesting for a moment that Aaron is a roadblock, far from it. He's quite legitimately defending his place on a tyre that isn't as quick as the tyre being used by the 3 cars behind. And what you're seeing is a really classy drive by Aaron Taylor-Smith. Now the race leader is Ash Sutton, and the lead gap is still 4.3 seconds then over Hill, but it's Turkington with Rowbottom now 7/10 behind him. So little by little the gap is coming down, but Dan has only got 2 laps to go. He's going to have to dig deep. Yeah, only 1/10 of a second between them, but they're really pretty close, aren't they? Yeah. Turkington hasn't got quite close enough to Hill to force him to defend, and we know the way Colin drives, he won't do anything too risky, but he's going to have Rowbottom really trying for that podium. But what's interesting is the way that the medium and the soft tyre can race against each other. We haven't got a situation where all the softs have shot up to the head of the field. True. And those medium tyre BMWs have been 2nd and 3rd race long. They've not tumbled down the order. So, you know, there's quite a spread. Soft, medium, medium, soft, medium, medium, hard, medium, soft, soft within the top 10. They're not in batches of tyre use, are they? No, the gap between the medium and the soft is not as great as, say, between the medium and the hard. Now there is a little bit of internecine argument as you see Mikey Doble and Andrew Watson squabbling, 19th and 20th, the other 2 Carstor Power Max Racing Vauxhalls, and it was Mikey Doble losing out to Andrew Watson. So the battle between the teammates continues. We've got 1 more lap to run at the end of this. Ash Sutton 4.3 seconds to the good. Aaron Taylor-Smith is still keeping Ricky Collard at bay. One of the great defensive drives of the season thus far. And if Aaron Taylor-Smith can keep behind and inspire Ricky Collard, he's certainly worked hard. He has. He's given everyone a lesson, hasn't he? But Collard's got a good run. I fancied Collard to do one of those round the outside into the S's moves, but this man is driving on. Here we go. Is this around the outside? No. So he slots back in behind the Vauxhall. Pearson and Chilton next in the queue. Wonderful fight this for 12th place. And Aaron Taylor-Smith has seldom worked so hard for 12th. Right, so the race leader is onto the last lap. 4.2 seconds now clear of Jake Hill. And Turkington to Rowbottom has gone up, actually, to 9:10. So it doesn't look as though that podium necessarily beckons. Robo is pressing on. The car leaning on its suspension there as it came into shot. But now, look, Turkington has caught Hill. This might just go against him if it starts to give Rowbottom the chance to catch back up. Yeah, there's quite a lot of setup changes on the BMW between the cars in terms of rear camber to make the soft tyre last in race 1. They can be a little more aggressive on camber in race 2 for the medium tyre. It's a bit more durable for that car, but clearly they're much more equally paced in this race than in race 1, where on the soft Jake had a big advantage. So Dan Rowbottom edging closer to the BMWs, and the battle, or the gap really, between the 2 BMs has been rather elasticated, hasn't it? Because on some corners it looks like Turkington is closer, and then Jake Hill's able to stretch it away once more. Half a lap to go, so Sutton is heading for a 31st victory, a 4th of the season, and it looks as though Hill, Turkington and Rowbottom are going to be 2nd, 3rd and 4th behind him, and Josh Cook wishing that he really was 2nd, not just 2nd on the road. He was a lap down after the pit stop and the drive-through in a race that has just been torrid from not even the start, before the start to the end. So great drive by Ash Sutton. He's heading through Corham. Turkington is being caught by Rowbottom, but Dan's going to run out of time then as Sutton heads down towards turn 12. Checkered flag at the ready. Your house is safe. Here he comes then, up towards the line. It's going to be another victory. Ash Sutton then for a 31st career win, 2nd win of the day. Ash Sutton wins then the 8th round of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship in dominant fashion. Jake Hill is going to be 2nd, 3rd will be Colin Turkington, and Dan Rowbottom 4th. Not only his 31st win, get this, his 4th win on the trot. 4th win on the trot. is quite something, isn't it? Behind, 5th, Adam Morgan, 6th, Stephen Jelly, 7th, Tom Ingram. Still they battle up to the line on the hybrid use there because 8th was Rory Butcher, 9th, Sam Osborne, and the top 10 rounded out by Dan Lloyd. Dan Camish, 11th. Right, who's going to be 12th? Aaron Taylor-Smith. Take a bow. What a defence to keep at bay. Collard, Pearson, Chilton as they come across the line. Aaron Taylor-Smith, 12th then. Ricky Collard, 13th. Ronan Pearson, 14th. And Tom Chilton, the last point scorer, in 15th place. And the winning margin, 3.6 seconds between Ash Sutton and Jake Hill at the end. But very happy Napa Racing UK engineers on the pit wall, understandably so. And in the midst of all of that is Ash's engineer, Tony Carosa. They've done it again. Yet another victory in the Napa Racing UK stable. Ash Sutton 4 in a row, and of course extends the advantage in the championship as a result. He's still an exciting driver to watch, but in a race like that, when he's out on his own, you almost don't forget about him. But you know, we'd like to see him in a battle with other cars.
Yeah, I think it's hard to underestimate what a fantastic job he and the team are doing.
Absolutely.
He's just at one with the car. Here's your result.
The 8th round of the British Touring Car Championship falls to Ash Sutton ahead of Jake Hill, 3.6 seconds between them. Colin Turkington 3rd ahead of Dan Rowbottom, and then Adam Morgan. Stephen Jelly taking 6th ahead of Tom Ingram. Rory Butcher 8th from Sam Osborne, and Dan Lloyd, the winning independent this time, to round out the top 10. 11th Dan Camish then ahead of Aaron Taylor-Smith, 12th. He fended off Ricky Collard and Ronan Pearson and Tom Chilton. George Gamble 16th from Aidan Moffat, then Andrew Watson ahead of his teammate Mikey Doble. Top 20 completed by Bobby Thompson. Jack Butel 21st ahead of Dexter Patterson. Will Powell 23rd from Nick Hamilton. Nick Halstead 25th ahead of Jade Edwards. And Josh Cook 27th, a lap down after, of course, having to pit for a puncture and then serving a drive-through for people working on the car when the bridge should have been cleared.